They are tracking all your movements. He's commanded them to watch over you. Something about this moment feels different, and you sensed it before you even pressed play. There is a quiet awareness inside you, like something has been noticing you more closely lately, not in a way that feels heavy, but in a way that feels intentional, almost like your steps have meaning again. Stay with this, because what you are feeling is not random, and it is not something everyone becomes aware of. You may have had days where you wondered why certain thoughts kept returning, or why small moments started to feel more significant than they used to. It is as if your life is being observed with care, not judged, not controlled, but gently understood in a way that you cannot always explain. There is a presence in your journey, something that sees the effort you put in when no one else does, something that understands the silent decisions you make when you choose growth over comfort. For a long time, you have been moving through life carrying questions that never fully found answers, and yet you kept going without fully realizing how much strength that required. What is shifting now is not your outer world all at once, but your awareness of it. You are beginning to notice patterns, connections, and moments that once passed by unnoticed, and now they feel like they are pointing toward something deeper, something more aligned with who you are becoming. There is something important here, and it is not about fear or control, but about recognition. You are not as unseen as you once believed. The path you are walking, the choices you are making, even the pauses you take to reflect, they are all part of something that is being carefully acknowledged. And as this awareness grows, you will start to understand why certain things had to happen the way they did, and why this moment feels like the beginning of a clearer, more intentional direction. There are moments when everything around you looks the same, yet something within you quietly refuses to stay the same, and that contrast is not accidental. It is like an invisible layer has been lifted from your perception, allowing you to notice details that once blended into the background, and now they feel personal, almost as if they were placed there for you to recognize. Do not rush past this feeling, because it carries meaning that unfolds slowly and only reveals itself when you allow yourself to stay present with it. You might have noticed how certain situations no longer pull you in the way they used to, or how your reactions have started to change without you forcing them to. This is not you losing interest in life. It is you becoming more aligned with what actually matters to you. There is a quiet guidance in this shift, something that does not speak loudly but still manages to direct your attention toward what deserves your energy and away from what no longer fits who you are becoming. It can feel confusing at times because growth rarely announces itself clearly in the beginning. It shows up as subtle discomfort, as a sense that something is evolving even when you cannot fully explain it to anyone else. But this process is not happening without awareness. There is a deeper intelligence at work here, something that understands your timing, your capacity, and the pace at which you are ready to see things differently. Do not miss what comes next, because this awareness is leading you toward a clearer understanding of your own path. You are not being pushed or forced, you are being gently guided into noticing what has always been around you, but required a different version of you to fully see it. And as you continue to move forward with this new clarity, you will begin to realize that nothing about this journey has been random, not even the moments you once thought meant nothing. In the quiet spaces where you are not trying to prove anything to anyone, something within you has started to speak more clearly, and it does not need noise to be heard. It feels like a soft knowing rather than a loud answer, like a calm realization that slowly settles instead of rushing in all at once. Stay with this, because this is where your awareness becomes more honest, more grounded, and more connected to what is real for you. You may have begun to notice how certain thoughts no longer feel like pressure, but more like guidance, gently pointing you toward what feels right instead of forcing you into what feels expected. This shift is subtle, but it is powerful. It is the difference between reacting out of habit and responding with intention. And somewhere in this change, you are starting to trust yourself in a way that you did not fully allow before. There is also a quiet sense of being understood, even in moments when you cannot explain yourself to others. It is not about being watched in a heavy way, but about being recognized in a deeper sense, like your journey has always been seen with care and patience. This awareness does not take anything away from you. It gives you something back. It returns a sense of meaning to your choices, even the ones that felt uncertain at the time. There's something important here because this connection you are feeling is not outside of you. It is something you are beginning to recognize within yourself. As this continues to unfold, you will start to see that the clarity you were searching for was not something distant or hidden. It was something that needed your attention, your stillness, and your willingness to truly notice it. At some point, without any announcement, you began to feel a quiet steadiness forming inside you, and it did not come from outside validation or sudden change. It came from something deeper settling into place. It is subtle, almost easy to overlook, but it shows up in the way you pause before reacting, in the way you observe instead of rushing, and in the way you allow yourself to feel without immediately needing to explain it. Do not rush past this moment, because this is where your inner clarity begins to take shape. You might notice that your connection with yourself is becoming more honest, more grounded, and less influenced by what others expect from you. It is not that the world around you has disappeared, but your relationship with it is shifting. You are no longer trying to fit into spaces that drain you, and you're no longer holding on to patterns that quietly weigh you down. This is not something forced. It is something that is naturally unfolding as you begin to recognize what truly aligns with you. There is also a growing sense of calm in knowing that you are not moving blindly anymore. Even when you do not have all the answers, there is a quiet trust building within you that you are not lost. It feels like something has been aware of your path all along, gently allowing you to move at your own pace, never pushing, never overwhelming, but always present in a way that supports your growth. This awareness does not take away your freedom. It strengthens your confidence in the choices you make. There is something important here because this steadiness is not temporary. It is the beginning of a deeper relationship with yourself, one where you listen, understand, and move with intention rather than uncertainty. As this continues to unfold, you will start to notice how even the smallest decisions carry a sense of purpose, and how your path begins to feel less like something you are searching for and more like something you are finally recognizing. Without realizing exactly when it started, you have begun to feel a quiet sense of direction that does not come from outside noise, but from within your own awareness. It is not loud or overwhelming. It does not demand your attention, yet it remains steady, like something gently guiding you without taking control. Stay with this, because this feeling is not something to question or rush through. It is something to understand slowly in your own time. There may have been moments recently where you paused and thought about how far you have come, not in terms of visible success, but in the way you now handle things that once felt difficult. Your patience has grown in ways you did not track, your perspective has shifted without you forcing it, and your ability to step back and see things clearly has become stronger. This is not accidental. It is the result of every quiet moment where you chose reflection over reaction, even when it was not easy. What you are beginning to realize is that this sense of being observed is not about control or restriction, but about awareness, meeting awareness. It is as if your life has always had a deeper layer to it, one that you are only now starting to notice. And as you notice it, you also begin to understand that you are not separate from it. You are part of this awareness, part of this unfolding, and that realization changes how you see everything around you. Do not miss what comes next, because this understanding is opening a new way of experiencing your own journey. It is no longer just about moving forward without knowing why. It is about moving with a quiet sense of meaning that grows stronger each day. And as this continues, you will find that the clarity you once searched for begins to meet you naturally, not as something distant, but as something that has been walking beside you all along. There comes a point where everything begins to feel less like coincidence and more like quiet alignment, and you are stepping into that space now without even forcing it. It is not something you planned or tried to create. It is something that has been forming gently beneath the surface of your everyday life. You may not have all the answers yet, but there is a growing sense within you that you are no longer moving without awareness, and that alone changes how you experience each moment. You might notice how your attention naturally shifts toward what feels meaningful, while things that once distracted you begin to lose their hold. This is not you losing interest in life. It is you becoming more selective with your energy. There is a deeper understanding forming, one that helps you recognize what deserves your time and what quietly pulls you away from yourself. This awareness is calm. It does not pressure you, but it keeps guiding you back whenever you start to drift too far from what feels true. There is also a quiet reassurance in realizing that you are not alone in this process of becoming more aware. Not in a physical sense, but in a deeper, more subtle way, as if your journey has always been accompanied by a kind of understanding that never needed to announce itself. It does not interfere, it does not control, it simply remains present, allowing you to grow into your own clarity while knowing that every step you take is seen with patience and care. There's something important here, because this stage is where everything begins to feel more connected. Your thoughts, your choices, your reflections, they are no longer scattered or uncertain in the same way. They start to come together, forming a clearer picture of who you are becoming. And as this clarity continues to deepen, you will begin to move with a quiet confidence, not because everything is certain, but because you finally trust the awareness that is guiding you forward. Now, there is a quiet understanding settling into you, one that does not need proof or explanation to feel real. It is the kind of clarity that arrives gently, without forcing itself into your awareness. And yet, once it is there, you cannot ignore it. You begin to see your life not as a series of random moments, but as something that has been unfolding with a quiet consistency, even when you did not fully recognize it. Stay with this, because this is where everything begins to feel complete in a way that is calm and steady. You may reflect on the times you felt uncertain, the moments when you questioned your path, and you start to notice how each of those experiences shaped the way you understand yourself today. Nothing was wasted. Even the pauses, the delays, and the moments of confusion carried something forward within you. And now, instead of searching for meaning outside, you begin to feel it naturally within your own awareness, as if it has always been waiting for you to notice it. There is also a sense of peace in realizing that you do not need to rush anymore. You do not need to force answers or push yourself into clarity before you are ready. What is meant for you to understand will continue to unfold at a pace that matches your growth. This does not make your journey slower, it makes it more aligned. It allows you to move with intention instead of urgency, and that shift changes everything about how you experience your path. There's something important here, because this is where your awareness becomes your guide in a deeper way. You are no longer looking for signs in everything around you. You are recognizing the quiet guidance within you. And as you continue forward with this understanding, you will find that your journey feels less like something you are trying to figure out, and more like something you are finally living with clarity, trust, and a calm sense of direction.